few seconds away from switching to the redundant sense sequencer. T-minus 27 seconds. We have gone for redundant set sequencer start. T-minus 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15, 14, 13, T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have main engine start.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
Yeah. Welcome to the Edge. I hope everybody has subscribed to the Edge. Everybody's enjoying the shows. I know, I'm still getting some things going here. Anyway, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I know I've normally been doing a lot of stuff with urban legends and some of the scary, spooky stuff, stories and things, but I wanted to do something a little different with this particular show. Something I just felt compelled. I just wanted to talk about for a little bit, maybe get some feedback and some responses from some people. And this show is all about a blast from the past. Blast from the past. Anyway, so much has changed through the years. So much has changed. I mean, and I feel sorry. Sometimes I really feel sad for the kids today and even the kids of yesterday from, 2000 on up. I mean, 1990s was wasn't real good either. The best times when I grew up was in the 70s, and the 80s, and that's, I mean, everything was so much better then. You could joke around with people and their feelings didn't get hurt. Today everybody's so thin-skinned and so sensitive, and it's crazy. I remember, the 70s was, I think, one of the best times to grow up because the toys that we had, and I know a lot of the millennials and the younger people generation that are watching the show are going to go, the toys you had back then were so dangerous and so fucking screwed up, man. Nobody died from any toys. Yeah, we didn't have all the computer technology that you have today, but that was a good thing because we learned back in the 70s and growing up in the 80s, you learned how to have an imagination. You learned how to pretend, and in case a lot of you just don't realize this, where do you think good actors come from? They're able to pretend to be someone that they're not. They're able to pretend something is there that really isn't there and create, and have that imagination. And, kids today don't know how to do that. A lot of them don't, and it's such a shame. I get feeling so sad because they've missed out on so much. I grew up with shows like, our Saturday mornings, man. Saturday mornings, they were the shit. Of course, now, TV was important to me growing up. I was a big TV kid, and I grew up, with TV. And, I grew up in Saturday mornings, and you get up and, you had all your shows. You had Sigmund the Sea Monster, the Bugaloos. They were all the Sid Marty Krofft shows, the Bugaloos with Bonita Bazaar, we had HR Puffin stuff. And, some of the shows, I mean, you watch them now and you go, wow, I can't believe I watched it. But they were really cool. And the one thing about all the shows, even we had Shazam, Almighty Isis. We had the Super Friends. We had Spider-Man. You know, we had uh, uh, Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, Foghorn Leghorn. You know, I said, hold on there, boy. We had all these great cartoons, and cartoons were cartoons. You know, they've taken, through the years, they've taken the fun out of cartoons. You know, they're not cartoons. They're not cartoony. Even if you pay attention and go back and watch cartoons from the 70s and 80s, even the voices, the voiceovers, they were entertaining. They were cool voices, you know. You watch cartoons or so-called cartoons today, they're just regular people talking. They don't have any type of a cartoony voice to them or any type of, you know, entertaining, fun listening to voices and stuff. And it's just not how it used to be, you know. You know, you have to sit down and compare. See, I don't have to, because I grew up in those times and I see the cartoons the kids watch today, and there's just almost no imagination. You know, the voices are just regular kids talking or adults talking. They don't, you know, they don't try to disguise their voice. You know, I don't know. So much has changed, and it's a shame. You know, I remember growing up in school. How many of you remember this? If you were from the 70s, you went into school, went into the classroom, and we put our book bags and stuff down, go to our desk, and then we would stand up. Once everybody was in the room, they did roll call, we stand up. We would do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. After we said the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, which we stood up with our hand on our heart and everything, then we would sing, "This Land is Your Land." We would sing the song, "This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island." So I still remember it. And then when we got done singing that song, we would sit down at our desk and we would bow our head for a moment of silence. Now, it wasn't a moment of prayer. It wasn't prayer, just a moment of silence. And what it was basically for was for you to calm down from all the excitement of coming in, seeing your friends and everything. It's early in the morning, you know. It was to take a deep breath, calm down, you know, relax for a minute, get your heart rate down so you could focus. Then the bell would ring, and the teacher would say, "Okay, class, take out your English books or reading books, whatever you're going to start the day off with and work with." And we didn't change class for, you know, change rooms for every class. We would stay in the same class, have the same teacher for 2 or 3 subjects, and then we might change to go to, like, you know, math class. We had a different math teacher. We had a social studies teacher. English and reading and, you know, and all that was done by the same teacher. So that was how we started our day. Somewhere along the lines, you know, they decided to take, somebody said, "Oh, it was prayer." It wasn't prayer, it was just a moment of silence. Somebody got offended by it, thinking it was prayer. Now they've taken God out of schools. They don't do the Pledge of Allegiance, and anymore today, somehow you can't even feel safe flying the flag of this country and being proud of it. And that's such a shame. You know, the one thing that we had, and you can talk about, you know, I hear a lot of the millennials, or whatever you want to call them, the last few generations, they mock or make fun of the shows that we grew up with. That some of the shows that I mentioned, you know, even Mr. Rogers, and, you know, we had Captain Kangaroo, and over here on the East Coast, we also had Captain Noah and his Magical Ark, which was a really cool show. And we had Popeye cartoons and, you know, all this stuff. But the one thing that we had and we got from all those shows was you actually did learn from them, because all those shows had morals at the end. There was something that you learned from those shows. Even Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids with Bill Cosby. there was always a moral to the end of the cartoon show where you were taught, they taught you something. I remember in between the cartoons on Saturday, Sunday mornings, in between your shows, they had the Schoolhouse Rock. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? My favorite one was, I'm just a bill. I'm only a bill. Yes, I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long day before I come along. But oh, how I hope and pray that I will. But today I'm still just a bill. I used to love his voice, the way he sang that. But we had the Schoolhouse Rock, and you always learned. You learned what a bill was and how it became a law through a cartoon. You know, you learned about what a noun was and an adverb. We learned all these things from Schoolhouse Rock, and I feel so sad that the kids today don't know what that's like. They have no clue. They are growing up so fast anymore. They're not kids. They don't have an imagination. And I don't blame it necessarily on the kids. I blame it on the TV, Hollywood, what they're putting on for the kids to watch. And I also blame it on, what I blame it on too? Lawyers. A lot of it has to do with lawyers. Every time you turn, there's a class action lawsuit going on. The biggest one that's been going on for a while now is with the Boy Scouts. They come up with this, if you've been molested by your Boy Scout leader from 20 years ago, you may, collect large sums of money. I was in Boy Scouts. I never had no problems like that or anything. Come on, man. I learned a lot. I was in Boy Scouts, Indian Scouts. And they were great times, man, sitting around a campfire, making s'mores or toasting marshmallows, and you sang all the campfire songs, Kumbaya, and sipping cider through a straw. See, a lot of you probably don't know that stuff, but you learn, and it was such a great time. There was a lot more innocence in the world today, and in the world then. Today, there is no more innocence in the world today, and it's such a shame. Innocence is taken out. I think it's a shame. But there was just so much, and even the movies have changed. If you watch a lot of movies anymore today, a lot of times the first 10 minutes of a movie is soft porn, especially in horror movies. Every horror movie that you watch is the same way. It's a group of kids who go out, whether they're going camping or going hiking. Somebody always brings some marijuana with them or some joints to smoke. Somebody else always brings some bottles of beer or whiskey or whatever to drink, and they party, then they have sex, and then the killing starts, and they're like slasher movies. And it's such a shame, that they have to incorporate, that soft porn into, and it's almost in every movie, and they're starting to go way, way overboard now with it. And they don't stop to think that there are, the younger kids that are watching these things, and it's such a shame. Even the TV shows are not, when I say TV shows now, I'm talking like, I grew up with Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Leave It to Beaver, Dennis the Menace, Lost in Space, all those shows, Far Out Space Nuts, Bob Denver, Gilligan's Island, Bewitched. There wasn't a lot of violence in the movies or in the TV shows, that we grew up with. There just wasn't a lot of violence. And what violence there were, it may have been a little bit of gunfight, a little bit of gunfire or something. Like if you got into watching some of the nighttime shows like Starsky and Hutch, Columbo, some of those type of shows like that. But today it's all violence. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, I can't believe how much violence that you see. Now I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, of course, with the show and everything, and I can't believe how much fighting sports. I guess you would call, trying to call them sports now. I don't agree with it. They've got one I've been seeing a lot of lately, these video clips, where it's, I don't know what they call it. It's this slap thing where they stand there across from each other and they do this, they slap each other across the side of the face. And I guess whoever gets knocked out or whoever gives up first is the loser. You know, you take turns. They take turns slapping each other as hard as they can. And I mean, man, they are really wailing each other. And it's just like, you know, do they not realize the dangers, you know, of what they're doing? I mean, you don't realize when you get hit fast enough and hard enough in your head, and your head can go so fast your brain doesn't. And your brain will actually bounce off your skull. And then you bruise your skull. And that's what a concussion is. And you get enough of those, you start getting lesions on your brain, and that can trigger an early onset of Alzheimer's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, all this stuff, you know, and it's a shame. And what really is puzzling me, I'm seeing a lot of pretty young ladies that are doing this slap fighting thing. And then you've got the ultimate fighting, you know, where like Ronda Rousey came from, you know. Beautiful girl. You know, really, it's like, what is with these girls? I don't understand the fighting thing to begin with. I don't even like boxing. I've never been a sports person to begin with. I grew up being a musician, into my music. I've been very artistically inclined and things like that, you know. So I'd rather be building things and building models and just designing stuff and working with cameras and music and my guitar. And, you know, whenever I was invited to a party growing up, it's because I was the entertainment. You know, I bring my guitar, I'm up on stage and I'm playing and I'm DJing, you know, providing the music, always the entertainment, you know. That was me. I never got into sports, period. But I don't understand why there's so much violence today. It's like everything is about being the biggest, the baddest, the toughest. Why? You know, because you were able to knock this guy out with a sucker punch. Or, you know, legitimately lock the guy out. I guess you're now a badass, right? So now what? Now I know some of these guys, like the UFC and all their, or MMA, whatever all that stuff is called, they're making big bucks. I mean, they're making millions of dollars, you know, fighting and doing this stuff. But man, it's just every time you turn around, all you see anymore is violence. It's not, you know, when we grew up, I miss the 70s and the 80s. I hear a lot of the younger generation will say, man, you know, the music back in the 80s was so great. The 70s and 80s was so great, man. Why? What is so different about their music? I'll tell you what the difference is between the music of the 70s and 80s versus the music of today. And the big difference is, number one, is they wrote their own music. They put blood, sweat, and tears into their song. A lot of those guys, like, you know, the big bands, the long-haired bands of the 80s, you know, and I'm talking like Journey, Motley Crue, you know, Queen, you know, just all those, you know, Bon Jovi, all them guys, you know, Bad Company, all them. They actually wrote those songs while they were on the road, and a lot of them would be written between gigs, you know, while they get done this gig here and they're in their tour buses and they're going to the next gig, they're writing songs, are coming up with ideas and writing about things that they've been through. Songs that they are singing or about things that they've actually been through. One of the band members has been through that, you know, and they wrote that. So they actually wrote their own music, you know, and there was a lot of feeling and heart behind it. And they played their own instruments and made their own music. There was no auto-tune. There was no such thing as auto-tune. You either had the vocals and could sing, or you couldn't, you know. I mean, it wasn't, you know, out there trying to be something that you're not. But, you know, That's what made the music different. You know, these bands, these guys, you know, they were on the road, they were traveling, they were writing about their life experiences and things and putting their heart and soul into it. And they really felt what they were singing, you know. And if you listen to the lyrics, you can feel that. A lot of these singers today over the last 20 years, you know, they got people writing their songs for them and they're just singing the songs. You know, and then they got auto tunes, so half of them can't even really sing. Because go check them out live and watch them live. You're like, whoa, it don't sound anything like the CD or, you know, anything like, you know, on the radio or whatever. You know, what's going on here? Well, it's live, you know. And some of them, you can tell that there's so much auto tune on their mic, they sound almost robotic. You know, it's a shame, but that's the differences, man. Things so different, so different. And you know, I feel really bad for the past few generations that don't. They're being taught things so badly. It's so messed up that it really is screwed up. You know, it's a shame. I don't know if you saw in the beginning of the show before I came on, I did a little thing with the original MTV. That was when, and for those of you who don't know what that was MTV. It was music TV, 24/7, nothing but music. However, they were music videos. And they were the bands, and they made their own music videos to their songs, where you'd see them riding their tour bus down the road and, you know, doing the running between the gigs and things, and they're putting music to it. And it was really so cool. And it was really very, very cool, you know, MTV. You know. Downtown Julie Brown, oh, she was so pretty. I loved her, man. She was so cool. And there was one blonde, I can't remember her name. She had a lot of blonde hair. I thought she was really cool too. But then again, that you know, they had to change it, and then they started putting game shows on it and everything else, and then it wasn't music 24/7. But man, it was, yeah, you had all the major bands. I mean, MTV was the shit. If you got your video, your music on MTV, you were going places, you were doing things. It was so cool. You know, I remember seeing 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad by Meatloaf, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. Remember Journey when they first came out with Faithfully, Open Arms. Very, very first song that was ever played on MTV as an MTV video song was The Video Killed the Radio Star. I almost had that backwards. The video killed the radio star, because it was all about videos, and it really was. I mean, that's how people learned and heard new songs. And I mean, people would have it on all day long on their TVs, you know, at their house and stuff. So, but there's just so much that's changed through the years, and it's such a shame, because I feel bad for the kids, because they just don't know. A lot of them don't know what it's like to sit around a campfire, like I was saying, and sing the old campfire songs, you know, and have that, just that goodness in your heart, you know, and that purity and the innocence, you know. It's a shame, you know, and it really is a shame, you know. I'm one of the lucky few, and I feel like I'm the last of a dying breed that, you know, grew up in the 70s, and man, because 70s and 80s, that was the best times. I mean, the 50s were good too. The 50s were cool, but I wasn't born to grow up in the 50s, but they had all the cool cars, man. You know, they had all the hot rods, you know, all the really cool drag cars and things, and you know, they had their shows too, you know. I mean, 60s, you know. I mean, I grew up too in the early 70s with, you know, the Howdy Doody show and the Mickey Mouse Club, and you know, some of those old shows. Forgot to mention another big one that I used to like watching was the Banana Splits, you know. So I'm hoping I'm bringing back a lot of memories for a lot of people when you're seeing the videos and things, and getting a kick out of it and all. You know, it's just really cool. Stay tuned and watch till the end of the show here, because I got a little bit at the end of a video clip for you at the end of some old shows and things, and even even the commercials. Man, they just don't make commercials like they did back then either. You know, I'm not gonna try it. You try it. I'm not gonna try it. Hey, let's get Mikey. You eat anything. That was the commercial for life. You can't. We had one that was, I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
You ate it, Ralph.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
No, Ralph, I ate it.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
Take 2 Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer neutralizes all the acid your stomach has churned out. For your upset stomach and headache, take Alka-Seltzer and feel better fast.
Did you drink your Alka-Seltzer?
The whole thing.
We had some funny commercials, you know, but the TV shows, you know, the Brady Bunch was a big one. Brady Bunch, oh God, how can you forget the Brady Bunch? And see, I still watch all these shows. That's why I remember them, just so you know. I got box sets, the TV box sets, you know, DVDs, and I watch them. I got the Brady Bunch. I've got Barney Miller. I've got Columbo. I've got Sigmund the Sea Monster, Land of the Lost, Bugaloos. I've got them all. You know, I've spent a lot of time collecting them, and I watch them. You know, I really do. You know, I still watch all those shows. I still watch the Brady Bunch. I mean, who did not? Who in the 70s, you know, growing up with the Brady Bunch, was not in love with Marsha Brady, Maureen McCormick? Come on, I think every guy. She was that one. She was the one back then. She was. I think Maureen McCormick was a Jennifer Aniston of the 70s. You know, every guy wanted Maureen McCormick. You know, she was such a pretty girl. You know, she was so pretty, a cute smile, long blonde hair. You know, she was just, she was a bomb. And you know, Jan, her sister, she was pretty too. She wasn't far behind when these two started getting older on the show, and long blonde hair, and they were like 17, I guess, or whatever. Man, they were really looking pretty, really pretty girls. So every guy wanted Maureen McCormick. You know that, you know. So you know, but the cool thing about the shows that we grew up, like I said earlier on, was they taught you something. At the end of the show, there was always some type of a moral, you know, that they taught you, and that was so cool. You know, you learned something. You were watching, even like there's a show called Shazam, and it was about a young boy named Billy, and it was kind of a cool show because it was part real and part cartoon, because whenever trouble, it was him and an older man. They would travel around in an RV, and whenever there was trouble, he could run out of the RV, you know what I mean, if something happened, and he would Shazam, you know, he would turn into this Superman type guy, you know, with a red suit on. Then he had a yellow cape or a gold cape, you know, and he had a Z or something on the front, I forget, but he was Shazam. But all of those shows, there was a moral to them about being nice, being kind, being thoughtful, and do unto others you would have them do to you, and all this kind of stuff. They really taught you something, and it was so cool. And you know, it's a shame because the kids aren't learning that today. They're not learning life. You can teach all you want in schools about computers and things, but what you're not teaching is how to communicate. See, the communication is not there anymore because of technology. Technology, I believe, has surpassed humans. And humans are becoming dumb because they're relying on the technology. I mean, shoot, I've talked to kids. I say kids. I'm in my 50s. You know, I've talked to kids in their 20s and, you know, early 30s, and they've literally told me, "No, I don't know how to read cursive. I don't know how to sign my name." Like, what? Right? They're like, yeah, we didn't learn how to. We didn't write. Some of them even go, "What's cursive?" I say, "You don't know what cursive is?" They're going, "No, I don't know. Cursive, where you just sign your name." You know, well, I do that. I've had some say, "I know how to sign my name in cursive, but we didn't learn that in school." I'm thinking, God. And then I started finding out that they did stop teaching that in school. And now everything is electronic signature is a legal binding signature. And I don't know how that is, because there's no verification. So how, yeah, anybody can sign your name then, you know, it's a, you know, but the other thing is, and I've watched this with people, and again, this is how the times have changed. And what it's doing to people is, back in my day, if you wanted to talk to somebody, you would go and you sit and you talk to them. You have a conversation. You know, you sat down, you ate with your family or with your friends or whatever, and you had a conversation, you converse back and forth, and you talk. They don't do that anymore. Everything is done through text messaging. Texting, or email. Texting, email. And then when you get in front of that person, you don't know how to talk to them. They don't know how to talk to each other anymore. They just don't know how to communicate. I have literally seen people sitting next to each other and they're texting each other back and forth instead of talking. It's like they're mutes and they can't talk. And they're texting back and forth, sitting right across or right next to each other. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You know, that's where technology is killing people, killing us, man. People don't communicate, they don't talk, you know. And it's a shame. And it's such a shame the way the times and things have changed. You know, I don't listen to a lot of new music. I still listen to, you know, my 60s, 70s, 80s music. What I listen to a lot of country, you know, cowboy at heart. But I still listen to a lot of the Bad Company, ZZ Top, Bon Jovi, Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner, you know, Bob Seger. You know, I listen to all that stuff. Air Supply, Barry Manilow, Bee Gees, you know, Casey and the Sunshine Band. You know, I love the one-hit wonders of the 70s, man. The one-hit wonders of the 70s were great. And for those of you who may be young and don't know what that is, the one-hit wonders of the 70s was exactly what that sentence says. They were just someone that came out, they did a song, it was a hit, went to #1, but that was it. They didn't have no more hit songs. It was just that one song. I'll give you an example. We had Terry Jacks, Seasons in the Sun. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. At the hills that we climbed are just seasons at a time. Goodbye to you, my trusted friend. We've known each other since we were 9 or 10. You know? So, I mean, but those were one-hit wonders. We got Take a Letter, Maria. Dress it to my wife. Say I won't be coming home on Saturday night. But there was just a lot of one-hit wonder songs that were just, you know, they just came out. They did the one song. It went hit, you know. It made it in the top 10 charts. Became very popular, but they didn't have, you know, any other songs. But there was a lot of them back in the 70s. They were just great music. You know, and then we had stuff like Jim Croce. I mean, who that is, you know. Jim Croce was great. His music was great. It's just such a shame, you know, but that's the stuff that I still listen to and that I still enjoy, and that's all I listen to. You know, every once in a while, there might come a song. Today, it's not too bad. But even country is not like it used to be. You know, all these knuckleheads that want to say they're country singers, all these young guys that are out there, you know, Luke Bryant and all these other, they're not country singers. Come on. Real country, we're talking Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn, you know, Dolly Parton, Tammy Wynette, you know. That's country, man. You know what I mean? Waylon Jennings, you know, Johnny Cash. I mean, come on, that's, you know, those were the country. You know, that was the country. You know, it's just not like that no more. It's almost like that country with the steel guitar and all doesn't exist anymore. And it's a shame. It should, because that's great music, you know. So anyway, have any comments, any thoughts, anything that you want to say about the show? Feel free to comment and say something. I just wanted to do a blast from the past and just talk about this because it's been weighing on my heart, been weighing on my mind, and I just thought, you know, it's It really is a shame. And it makes me sad when I think about these kids, and they don't know about riding around on their bikes and playing and things. I mean, of course, the streets and stuff aren't even safe anymore for them to do that, because there's just so much crap going on in the world today, you know. And it's such a shame, and it's a scary, scary time these days, and I just feel so sorry for the kids, because they don't know what it's like to really be a kid, you know. I mean, it was a great thing being in Boy Scouts. You're learning how to tie your knots. You're learning how to start a fire with, you know, just 2 sticks, and you're learning how to, you know, pitch a tent. And you're learning how to survive in the wilderness, and you're out there with nature, and you can appreciate the nature, you know. It's such a shame. I'll tell you, I appreciate the animals in nature and respect the animals in nature so much more than I do people today. It's just the way people treat each other is so horrible. It's all, with people, it's all about money. That's it, all about money, you know. And hurry up and go, rush, 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 you know, money, money, money. That's what it's all about. You know, nobody really, you know, really follows the laws of the Bible, you know, of Christianity anymore. You know, I've seen pastors who cheat, lie, steal, you know, and it's a shame, you know. So, but anyway, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I hope I have brought up a little bit of blast from the past from you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, yeah, brother. Oh, yeah. Gotta do that once on every show. But anyway, stay tuned. After these credits, check out the quick video, and I hope you like this. After this, then we're going to start getting back into some more spooky stuff. Ooh. Some more urban legend stuff, and then soon we're going to be going out on the road. Hopefully it'll be this summer. By the summertime, we're going to be actually traveling some places, shooting on location, and really livening up the show a little bit. So please subscribe. I need subscribers. I need your subscribing. Subscribe to the edge. Ooh yeah, brother. Ooh yeah. Thank you for joining, and thank you for listening. Please comment. If you have any suggestions, always let me know topic you want to talk about. And again, if you want to be on the show, you got to be a subscribed member. You can come on and you can talk with me, and we can do this together. Oh, Raggy, I'm going to tell him, Raggy. Don't forget to tell him. Oh yeah, that's right, guys. Wait to see the end of this. This is like so cool. We're gonna watch this together. Hey, Scoob, give me some Scooby snacks while we watch this. Zoinks, this is gonna be so cool.
Here comes Speed Racer, he's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone. He's gaining on you, so you better look alive. He's busy revving up the powerful Mach 5. And when the odds are against him and there's dangerous work to do, bet your life, Speed Racer, see it through. Go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go! He's up and flying as he guns a car around the track. He's jamming down the pedal like